get some awesome prizes, but not the ones that they're looking for. Everyone wants those 3 trophies that are mere feet away from these duelists.
I'll go first. Yep. Go up.
All right,
I won't
so
roll.
Charlie is going first.
Letting his team know that he won the roll.
Trophies. Standby. Name.
We see him open up with a card that I know you like in the branded strategy, Foolish Burial.
Yeah, Foolish Burial. So I really like Foolish Burial and Gold Sarcophagus in the branded deck. So one of the downsides of the branded deck is when you don't have a Luber, you really can't really get something or access to branded fusion in a way. But with Foolish Burial and Gold Sarcophagus being able to send or banish Despia Tragedy, you're going to be able to access a Luber. They really like pseudo reinforcements in the army. So ways to like get to a Luber. Now this is a good start. So he's going to lead with fusion deployment, revealing Dragonol the Dust Dragon. So he can special summon Blazing Cartasia. That way when he normal summons his a Luber, if his opponent has something like Infinite Permanence, Effect Veiler, he'll be able to chain the Blazing Cartasia effect to fuse them off the field, so the Luber will still resolve. Definitely one of the reasons why fusion deployment has spiked up in popularity in the branded strategy ever since it's been able to summon that Blazing Cartasia.
And it needed, of course, the Dust Dragon itself in Photon Hybernova for this play to be unlocked.
Exactly. And now a Luber coming down, adding that branded fusion.
Really, the interesting thing with this current game state here is, if Adrian has Ash Blossom, which of course he does now have a copy of Ash Blossom, we're still going to be able for Charlie to continue his fusion blaze.
Yeah, no, sorry, I got confused. We thought Charlie was playing Muhammad. Charlie is playing Adrian. Adrian is actually on a live twin Spright strategy, one we haven't seen this weekend. So this is even more exciting than the Kastira matchup. It's definitely more exciting for Charlie, because I think you'd much rather play against a live twin Spright deck as opposed to the branded strategy. Oh, so the Ash Blossom is coming down, and now the Grand Ganol is going to send Albion to the graveyard.
So that opening, though, of Blazing Cartasia and Alibur, obviously, as you mentioned, plays around Infinite Impermanence. It gives you a lot of resistance against Ash Blossom, right? That's always been a weakness of the branded strategy, is what do you do when your opponent opens Ash Blossom, as Adrian was able to do here.
Yep, and he's going to set branded in red. And then at the end phase, since the Albion was sent to the graveyard, Blazing Cartasia can add itself back to the hand.
4.
Now Adrian draws the 5 cards. Looks like it's a copy of Pot of Desires. Definitely one of my favorites from the Pot collection.
Yeah,
it looks really, it's sitting here right in front of me, and it looks fantastic.
And Charlie has an Ash Blossom of his own.
Yeah, you pretty much have to Ash Blossom Pot of Desires. You can't give your opponent 2 free cards. It just can be so impactful, especially in today's day and age.
That's an interesting card you don't typically see in Spright strategies. You know, we've been seeing Pot of Desires in decks like, for example, Sword Soul. It's interesting to see it here in this strategy.
Yeah, it really is, because they do have like a lot of those one-of spells that they usually use, like Spright Smashers. You can use Gamma Burst if you want some extra damage. I like Gamma Burst, because really if you just get 5 Spright monsters in the field, you can just win the game outright. Each one of those counts as 1,400 points of extra damage, or 1,200. It's one of those 2 numbers, but definitely will boost up all your small monsters to be enormous.
And with the live twins, you have even more of them.
Yep, very true. So Spright Starter is going to lead the way here for Adrian, and he's going to grab Spright Blue.
You take 11.
Activating Blue's effect. Switching out, I assume, a copy of Jet.
I'd have to assume it's Jet, unless he already has one, but I can see like the super rare foiling.
Well, some of the other sprites in our super rares, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, now they do, you're right. Thanks to OTS 21. Sharp. He is holding the Nibiru. That could help him. Unless Adrian finds a way to go into Gigantic before 5 summons. So now Charlie's going to use Brandon Red. He's going to try and go for a Guardian Chimera here to get the level 2 off the field. Oh, nope, just going to do 2. Maybe it's going to go for Masquerade to start making Charlie pay, or Adrian pay for his effects.
Yeah, that is interesting. One of the
No, it's Predaplant Dragos Apel, yeah.
So there are two ways that he can make it such that there's no longer a level 2 on the field. One of them would be to destroy it with Guardian Chimera. The other way is to put, of course, the Predaplant counter on it.
And then it becomes level 1.
Absolutely. So Charlie here definitely valuing
Forehand.
making sure that one of the potential ways that Adrian gets into the game here is having that level 2 on the field and then following it up with Jet.
That is interesting. I mean, I'm assuming he didn't have another monster in his hand. He wanted to banish that Brandon Red, so definitely smart here from Charlie as he navigates this.
Well, we know one of the cards is, of course, Nibiru. That's not really one you like to banish if you don't.
Blazing Cartasia, if you only play one, you certainly don't want to banish it. Unless you're playing Branded Sword, you can add back something that mentions Fallen Albaz. Charlie. So Adrian says we his live twin Spright strategy. Secret password is going to get a live twin speller trap, which will get him a live twin monster eventually.
Yeah, for his sake, I hope he opens up a little bit of a better opening hand than the previous game.
Yeah, now Charlie might be like, oh, I didn't even know you were using the live twins.
So then it like burns when I summon, right?
Yeah, if I control one of the ones, yeah.
Yeah, it does 200 points of damage every time he summons a monster, but
I'll just read it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
gets to add the live twin from the deck to the hand.
I think Adrian referred to it as a tanky effect, referring back to the Fire Fist cards.
I mean, essentially is, but instead of adding a specific type, it adds a live twin. But
with an additional burn effect, of course.
Deck. Yep.
Burn and gain effect. Which with 44 minutes left in the round, I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about that. But certainly if there were 4 minutes left in the round, that would be a bigger issue.
All right, so Leela grabs Kiss a Kill.
And put that from main deck opponents by card effect while you truly. Okay. Yep. Fake. Card in. Yep.
Looks like he's special summoning a Spright Jet now that he has plenty of level 2s on the field. He's searching out a copy of Spright Double Cross. That's a card that a lot of players have elected to put either into the side deck or not include entirely. We see here Adrian, knowing that he's going second in game 2, put it into his main deck. It is definitely one of those high impact cards that if you know you can search out on the first turn and you know that you're going first, can have a huge impact on the game.
It certainly can, and now we see an overlay here for Gigantic Spright. Detaching Leela to special summon, I imagine Spright Blue. Yep, it is Spright Blue. I can't tell if that's a Kiss a Kill or a Leela treat on the field, but
I think it's a Frost. It's really
it's
hard
Frost.
to,
I can't. It's hard to tell the three apart.
Yeah, I've been questioning myself, but I believe that's Frost.
Oh, so it is the Kiss a Kill Frost. Okay, so I was right the first time. Usually Leela summons Kiss a Kill, so that makes sense. Now we're going to see a Link summon here for.
I imagine one of the evil twins.
Someone's back. Yeah.
Looks like he's going into Kill.
To pop or draw? Okay.
So here with sort of the combo that Adrian's going for here, he's going to be able to draw an additional card on his turn, and then it sets up additional interactions on Charlie's turn, where he'll be able to basically tag these out or switch them out in order to destroy cards as well.
Can he? He can't summon a Link 4 here, can he?
No, what you do is actually go into.
Oh, he's going into another.
copy.
Oh, he's going to another Leela to summon back the Kiss a Kill during the turn to draw a card.
Well, he already did the draw card here.
I mean, yeah, during the opponent's turn.
On the opponent's turn, yes, absolutely. So it's actually interesting. It seems kind of counterintuitive to link off into essentially another copy. But what it does is it opens the field up to actually be able to perform that same iteration on the turn that follows, which is in and of itself an interruption on Charlie's turn.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's valuing the draw as opposed to the destruction during the opponent's turn.
So that one will revive the pink one to draw one.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to revive Leela to draw a card instead of getting the pop if he did the other way around. But I'm assuming he knows what he's doing. This is what he chooses to do. He'd rather have another card in the hand, and he summons that Spright Carrot to the field as well.
Yeah, because it's quick. Yeah, during the main phase. What's kill skill? Is that the other guy?
Yeah, that's the pink one.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna look at it. But yeah, you're fine to continue.
This is a good thing just for those of you at home who may play against a strategy that you're not super familiar with. Sometimes if you want to just read some cards in the graveyard, it's not a bad idea to tell your opponent, keep making some plays. That way I don't have to stop you with every single individual play. It can kind of just keep the pace of the game going. As honestly, if you don't necessarily have a card that you plan on activating yourself or an effect that you plan on activating yourself, and you're just trying to amass that information.
Certainly, and while that Kiss a Kill's in the graveyard, if Charlie does add a card from his deck to his hand, that means Adrian will be able to draw another card as well. And going to go and use Spright Starter here to summon Carrot. or red, sorry. So he has carrot and red on the field.
Looks like a super rare as well.
There it is from OTS 21. You did mention how there are other super rare sprites.
It's a random set. 3 cards in hand.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, that's double cross. All right, that's fine.
So it looks like we have double cross, which we know
Draw phase.
Adrian searched out. We have the draw off his evil twin, and we have both red and carrot.
I think.
Does he have Dark Hole, some sort of board wipe, evenly matched? Raigeki. He'd be able to force out the carrot at least, but he's going to start with Gold Sark, it looks like.
That's another one of the cards that you commented on earlier today as a fantastic inclusion in the Despia strategy.
Yeah, it's not one we've seen a lot over here too much, but it's definitely a solid card to have, and I love including it in my deck. If I can find an excuse to play Gold Sarcophagus, I'm going to do it.
And any card that can search your deck, such as Tragedy, and then enable you to get into a card like Aliber, which much of your entire strategy is based around, I think it makes a lot of sense to include it.
Yeah, and if 2 turns, you do get that Tragedy back, if you do make it that far. But here you go, see the Gold Sark for Tragedy. When Tragedy is banished, it lets you add a Despia monster from your deck to the hand, so he's going to grab a Luber, the Jester of Despia.
You can also banish Mercurier as well.
You can.
And if the game lasts those 2 turns, Mercurier all of a sudden adds to your hand as a hand interruption.
Yeah, it's really beneficial. That means, like, even if you happen to draw, because you only usually play 1 copy of Despia and Tragedy, it's not something you really want to draw. But if you do happen to draw it with the Gold Sark, you do still have other options.
That would get you a pop in the draw or just a draw? Get the draw card in hand? 4, all unknown. Let me think.
We see at the table scores, you want to look over on the right, Muhammad did win game number 1 against John. So that kind of evens out the series between these 2 teams.
It would make sense for Table A, Ryan playing the Labyrinth strategy, to take a little bit longer. So we see here Adrian drawing up to 5 cards in hand.
Yep, Leela brings back Kiss a Kill. Kiss a Kill draws a card. All right, another fusion deployment we saw in game 1, now coming down. Now there's 2 options with fusion deployment. You can get the Blazing Cartesia, or you can reveal any one of your mini Fallen Albaz fusions and grab Fallen Albaz.
His deck actually has a 3rd option as well. We haven't seen it yet, though. The Ultimate Wizard.
In terms of attack and defense? No. Let's see. I would love for that to come out right now. That would be fantastic. But definitely Adrian is taking a moment to consider whether he wants to use this carrot to negate the fusion deployment. Because he knows Albaz is on the menu.
Does it say it has to fuse with itself?
No, it does not. Like, see Charlie let him know that it does not say that. Let him know. Kind. Saves time. So he's going to negate it. He's going to send... Oh, that's so... Now I see why he did it. So, yeah, I was confused at first because he brought back the Leela to draw a card, and then he can use the carrot to send the Kiss a Kill. But now the Leela can bring back the Kiss a Kill can bring back the Leela, and so he gets the draw and the pop after using the carrot's negate. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's a great interaction utilizing the Sprite's effects for max value.
But we do know he has double cross set.
We do.
So now not as effective as it was before. And this looks like branded opening coming down for Charlie, and he's going to... See, this is the one downside of running Gold Sark and Fool's Burial is sometimes you draw them alongside, you know, more copies of the same, so you end up just using the Gold Sark to try and bait out the carrot, but he's going to discard that Aluber that he added to special summon the Aluber from his branding opening. So he doesn't have to give up his normal summon. He gets to put the branded opening in the graveyard, which actually is pretty important in this matchup. The destruction effect, or the destruction protection effect from branded opening will certainly come up if he tries to use Leela's effect to destroy. So now it looks like Charlie used the effect of Aluber, and now Adrian is trying to negate it with Spright red.
Sending Gigantic Spright to the graveyard, which is an interesting one. You were commenting on Spright double cross earlier. You know, keeping Gigantic on the field for this turn potentially was designed to combo well with the Spright double cross.
What card are they summoning?
That's fine.
So it is negated and destroyed since he sent an Xyz monster. Charlie does have Called by the Grave. That card is notoriously good against the Evil Twins.
Oh, wow. Unfortunately, though, it looks like he's going to have to pass the turn with just 2 back row.
Yep.
He's probably... Oh, that's interesting.
That's going to be it. B is also in game number 3.
In table A, where we just learned, still going.
Oh no, we do see the special card, the Ultimate Wizard, in terms of attack defense, but not where we want to see it. It's in Charlie's hand. But he does have the Bestial Lubellion, so he's going to be able to discard Lubellion to add a Bestial monster from the deck to hand, probably grabbing the Bestial Saurian here. Now let's see if he has Branded Fusion. I just hopefully jinxed it that we didn't see a full Branded combo yet, in hopes that Charlie would open up with a full Branded combo.
And for those of you at home, the Dark Magician is intended to be in his deck. He did not lose a bet here in Las Vegas and had to include it in his deck list. There are very clear reasons why he has it.
Yep. So he's going to use Branded Opening and discard the Ultimate Wizard in terms of attack and defense.
Looks like a nice anniversary copy, too.
Yep, that is a pretty one. And the Alluber is going to be met by Effect Veiler, prompting Charlie to chain Book of Eclipse, so it resolves. He needs to get to that Branded Fusion. Adrian had the Veiler. Is he going to have the Ash Blossom on top? I would think not, because if you want to save that Veiler probably if you have an Ash Blossom, which could be huge. So we'll finally get to see an actual branded combo. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so hopefully here Charlie's going to be able to send down McCurrier and Albaz to be able to summon Renbrum. I can only hope this is what he's going to do. But maybe not, because the Dark Magician might be tempting to do something different. Oh, he's sending the Gimmick Puppet. Oh, no. This is not like this. Not like this, Charlie.
Gimmick Puppet Nightmare.
It is a nightmare of a card. So if you're familiar with the branded strategy, man, just when I was hoping for a full branded combo, I get stuck with the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. This is my nightmare. Branded Expulsion is a cool branded trap card that lets you summon 2 monsters, one to your opponent's side of the field and one to your own side of the field from your graveyard or banished. And you can summon the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare to your opponent's side of the field, and if it's special summoned, for the rest of the turn, the player who controls that special summon monster cannot special summon monsters.
We used to see these strategies with cards like Ra's Disciple, but with the increase in popularity of cards like Book of Moon and Book of Eclipse, players have had to find additional ways of utilizing Branded Expulsion, and Gimmick Puppet Nightmare is the perfect card for doing that, because even if it is Book of Moon or Book of Eclipse, after it hits the field, the effect will linger on until the end phase.
Yeah.
So he's going to go to the end phase, doesn't want to worry about anything else. He's going to use Mirror Jade's effect to banish Albion. Yeah. Albion's effect is going to activate to set. I would only guess Branded Expulsion.
What was that?
Spoiler.
I will say, this is a bit of an all-in combo in the sense that Charlie only has 1 card in hand.
Do you have any priority in draw phase? Maybe. You have a priority effect?
And Charlie knows exactly what he wants to do, asking Adrian if he has any priority effects in draw phase, not even allowing Adrian to get into his standby phase or main phase.
All right, so he does have a starter that he can activate in the draw phase. This is actually somewhat useful. So he could grab Jet to grab Smashers.
But he's going to activate Expulsion, special summoning the Despia Aliber from his banished pile, and then, of course, the Gimmick Puppet.
Yep, so Expulsion's going to trade out that Mirror Jade for 2 monsters.
And now the starter is unable to resolve because of the Gimmick Puppet.
Oh, because it's not an effect. It's not a trigger effect. It just already happens on the field. It's a little different than you'd imagine, but definitely stops the starter. And now the Alluber's going to add Branded Loss to Charlie's hand, because he already has Retribution in the graveyard to add back Branded Fusion.
Against a strategy like Spright that's so reliant on utilizing their main phase, this probably all-in combo was going to be a sufficient pathway for Charlie here, because some strategies can actually reasonably play on the opponent's turn. This particular Spright strategy with the Live Twins, unable to special summon for the entirety of their first main phase, definitely not going to be that type of strategy. So here we see Secret Password come down. He's going to now search out Sunny Snitch.
Yeah, it's an all-in kind of play, right? If you have something like, it's a tough card to stop, honestly. Maybe Ghost Bell is just what you need.
Maybe. I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe Gimmick Puppet is a dark monster.
The Expulsion can summon
You saw
from the
what?
Vanish Zone.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's rough.
Okay.
Now, it looks like...
I thought you said that wasn't a knowledge.
It's no knowledge.
No, it's because Mike also dropped when I got the shuffle.
And he didn't see it during
He
the game.
activated it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I read the one you added?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, all the twins kind of do the same kind of thing when they're summoned. They'll summon the opposite twin from the deck.
Okay.
So you can link them to an evil twin.
Forehand.
Looks like he has both copies in his hand.
Yep.
Unable to special summon, passing. Looks like he has a copy of Change of Heart in his hand, so if Charlie's unable to win the game on this upcoming
Make
turn,
sure I can do this.
it's
Yeah.
possible that Change of Heart could be a game-breaking card on the turn that follows, once that Gimmick Puppet, or rather the Gimmick Nightmares effect is no longer active.
That's very true. Now it looks like in phase, Charlie's going to banish the Retribution to add Branded Fusion back to the hand. Draws for the
Trophies.
turn.
Stand by.
We didn't see Ash Blossom the first turn. Unless Adrian drew an Ash Blossom on the second turn, this Branded Fusion is going to resolve. So maybe you'll actually get what you wanted, that full branded combo.
It's too late, Joe.
But Charlie
It's too
actually
late, Joe.
values utilizing Gimmick Puppet first to ensure that there's just no possible way that Adrian can come back. And then on the second turn, he'll do that full branded combo that
Nope.
you were really hoping to see.
No, do not patronize me. That is not what I'm looking for. But sure, I'll take it here. Let's see what Charlie has and how he's going to be able to navigate this turn.
I mean, what's better than a branded combo that actually allows you to have a battle phase because you lock your opponent out of their first turn?
Keep spinning it. Keep spinning however you want to spin it, Joe. But here we go. Charlie added, I don't know, he sent branded opening, put the Albion on the bottom, draws that fresh card. Branded loss coming down that it added that Aluber.
Looks like he drew a copy of Crossout Designated. We hadn't really seen that card in the feature match area much this weekend, but we see it in multiple decks here in the top 4.
Ash Blossom and Joyous Ring and Nibiru are a heck of a card, so sometimes you need that crossed out designator. That's a card that hasn't, you said doesn't see much play, but definitely has the potential to be incredible. But yeah, Branded Fusion. Can you send down a McCurrier, please? Can you Branded Fusion for Rinbrum, Charlie? I'm asking you, please. No one has done it yet, and I want to see Rinbrum the Striking Dragon come down. He has a Bestial in his hand. Oh, but no, he has the Lubellion in his graveyard, so he's probably going to go for Albion.
If you can't tell what Billy's favorite extra deck monster is this weekend, then
Yeah, yeah, no bias.
looks like
Have you
that's-
looked at Rinbrum? It has like Albaz like on like a motorcycle and like Kit's like driving the thing. It's really awesome. So Brandon Loss is going to be Chainlink 1, Tragedy 2, Lubellion 3. He has to discard for a cost for Lubellion.
looks like he's discarding Crossout Designator.
Still useful.
I'd say I am somewhat surprised by discarding Crossout Designator. Just in the sense that it looks like you're going to win, and unless that other card in your hand is a card that needs to be used this turn, I would have liked the insurance policy of having a Crossout Designator.
True. So he adds Ad Libitum off of the Tragedy. He adds McCurrier off the Branded Lost.
Ooh.
And now this is why he used the Lubellion, so he can fuse his Dark Magician.
Into none other than
Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You thought you'd seen the last of him, but here he is back in the branded strategies. Charlie showing why he's using that Dark Magician. Even though he opened up with it, was able to go in Lubellion and make this later on. This is really, really cool.
I'm going to assume that this is the case, but since he used an actual Dark Magician, he may actually get one of its original effects. I don't know if that applies through the summon of a Lubellion, but some of the times when you used Dragoon in this particular strategy, you often use something like the Dark Hex, which replaced the Dark Magician entirely, so you never had a normal monster to use in the first place. The fact that he actually used a normal monster to summon the Dragoon is quite interesting.
It certainly is. And now the fusion deployment is summoning Blazing Cartasia to the field.
So that was the card that he elected to hold in his hand over the Crossout Designator.
Makes sense.
You had Crossout and Eclipse, so I don't think it mattered.
You know, with cards like Book of Eclipse appearing in almost every deck in some capacity, it's interesting whether or not Crossout Designator in the weeks that follow will rise in popularity even more after this event.
Thinking. 6.
So it looks like he's using Blazing Cartasia.
Going for 3. Going to make Despian. I'm not going to try to say the second part, but this card takes 3 monsters. It's really cool. It lets you target basically an extra deck monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to your side of the field or banish it. And then if it destroys a monster by battle, I think it can do the attack damage, like a Flame Wingman effect, does the attack damage to your opponent's life points.
Yeah, it's usually a card that hits the field off of something like Super Polymerization, but it's interesting.
Nah, I summoned it last turn.
It's interesting to see it hit the field in other ways as well.
Going to add branded in red here.
The beauty of what we just saw is utilizing Blazing Cartasia
So every time
without actually utilizing Blazing Cartasia as a fusion material. That way, if this game were to go into another turn, he would still have the Blazing Cartasia on the field.
Pop, take 1,000.
Okay, so here that answers the question I had a little bit earlier, which is if you use Lubellion and a actual Dark Magician to summon Red Giant Dragoon, would you be able to utilize the effect of destroying opponent's monsters? It looks like Mohammed won on table B, and it looks like on table A we're going into a game 3.
Wow, so it's going to come down to this game and Ryan and Santiago's game.
This game, I think, is coming to the close relatively quickly.
It's looking that way for sure. Especially with Brandon Red getting Ad Libitum. He's going to banish Ad Libitum and McCurrier to make Masquerade. Oh no, he's going for Guardian Chimera if he does a monster on the field. So it'd be 2 from hand, 1 on the field, so that's going to be to destroy 1 and draw 2. Brandon Red means it won't be able to attack directly, but Guardian Chimera can still attack monsters.
So it'll be really important for him to sequence his attacks.
I mean, he definitely has enough for game right now, so I don't know why Adrian hasn't conceded, unless he's just trying to, maybe he has something we don't know about.
Pop those 2, draw 1.
Wait. No, he only summoned, he used 1 on the field.
Well, no, wait. No, I need 1 on board. Pop.
Oh no, why destroy the monster?
Draw 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to attack over the monster, but it probably doesn't matter too much.
Well, that is one of the things that could potentially give Adrian a chance at.
I don't think Charlie's done quite just yet.
How much is this? 3, 6. What do you got? You had 7K, 3, 6. Battle Fish?
Oh, no, not saying.
Yeah, I popped your gimmick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, he loses life points because of Red Eyes Dragoon's effect, of course. So this is enough, even without having to.